Summoning, the ability to call some ghostly friends who can take some of the heat from your direction, and more importantly, also bring some serious utility and hey, damage to the situation. But which are the strongest summons that you can get your hands on and early in the game? How do we make the summons stronger? By literally upgrading them? All that and more will be explained in this video. So my name is Holo, welcome back to Rage Gaming, and let's get summoning. To unlock summoning, you need to have first unlocked Torrent, your horse, which is super early in the game. After you get that cinematic, we can immediately return to the Church of Ellie right away, where an NPC will be waiting for you who tells you her name is Renna. She'll hand you your summoning belt and a pretty solid summon, the wolves. If you progress too far and miss this though, you can go to the Maiden Husks, which are found in the Round Table Hold, and buy the bell from them. From here though, we can get summoning. To summon, you just need to slap the Spirit Ash of your choice on your items list or pouch, and then use it when summoning is possible, displayed by the tombstone icon on the left of your screen. But how do you actually upgrade your summons to make them stronger in a fight? You need a Spirit Tuner, and for us that's going to be Roderika. We can find Roderika early in the game before Stormvale Castle at the Stormhill Shack here on the map. Just talk to her and she'll give you the jellyfish summon, which is actually really good. But if you missed her here, she will still show up in Round Table Hold, which is the important part. The exact timing on when she shows up in Round Table is a bit vague, but I believe she shows up after you defeat the first major boss, which rewards you a great rune. We'll need to have a back and forth with her and the blacksmith, who sort of suggests that she might have powers of a Spirit Tuner, and you need to convince her to go through with that. You may also need to progress time a couple times to push these interactions along, and you can do that by resting at the Grace and literally progressing time. By the end of this, she'll have set up shop by the blacksmith as a Spirit Tuner, making your summons stronger in exchange for runes and gravewort. Gravewort comes in two forms, right? You have regular spirits who need grave gravewort and special spirits who need ghost gravewort. We can find gravewort in the various catacomb dungeons of the world, and it also comes in levels like upgrade materials will. So to get higher level gravewort, you need to go deeper into the regions of Elden Ring and do the higher level catacombs in those regions. Alright, so we have some of the important aspects of summoning out the way. Let's talk specific summons, the ones that you should care about most and how to get them. Let's begin with normal summons. Your two starters will probably be the wolves and the jellyfish, which will then upgrade into the Glintstone Sorcerer and the Raya Lucario soldiers. The wolves come with the bell, right? And the jellyfish is found at the Stormhill Shack before the Stormvale Castle. Like I said, Roderika will give you the jellyfish after you speak with her enough while she's there. The wolves make for a great summon early on when you need aggro taken from your person, especially when facing lots of enemies or maybe a boss that does single target damage. They're bad when the boss can just cleave them down though. Meanwhile, the jellyfish has the incredible ability to bleed its target after enough successful range shots. It's also fairly tanky considering that, so I often see the bleed take effect, which is great for an enemy with a large health pool and in a fight where there's only one target. Then we have the Raya Lucario soldiers, which are just like the wolves in that there's three of them, but one of them's a proper knight, so yeah, they're a good distraction, but a bit sturdier. We can find these to the west of Liurnia, in the lake section, in the roads and catacombs. You'll need to reveal the secret passage, which is hidden behind an illusionary wall, and you can do that by just hitting the wall to reveal the area. You just follow the catacombs until eventually you can't progress, and then hey, the illusionary wall's right there, and it reveals an area with the chest that has the summon inside of it. Meanwhile, the Glintstone Sorcerer is rewarded actually in the same place, the roads and catacombs. This one's the reward for defeating the boss here though, and that boss is hidden behind multiple illusion walls. To find that, just go back to the start of the catacombs and progress again, and then drop down here where we have the false wall. Then inside of that room, there'll be another false wall, and then you follow this tunnel which has multiple false walls, but they're very obvious compared to the other ones. And then we kill the boss and get the summon. Now the Glintstone Sorcerer, I think, is a brilliant ranged option, especially because he's a spellcaster who can do good burst damage. I really like him in single target fights, especially against glass cannon bosses or enemies. Now let's talk about some of the serious big boys. There's a whole other category of summons I mentioned earlier, right? Called special spirits or renowned spirits. These naturally cost more FP to summon on average, so you might want to level your mind stat to make this possible, but in many cases, it is really worth it. Just like any summon though, you'll find the ashes by exploring the world and completing the challenge you should find. It's just that special summons are a bit more secret, and also the challenges are a bit greater. Starting with the Stormhawk then, this insane bird summon will fly around out of reach of the enemy, blasting them with wind attacks, and even buff up you and itself. For just 54 FP, that's really good. To get the Stormhawk, we need to return to the Chapel of Anticipation, the place where we actually started the game. To get there, we need to activate a portal, which requires an imbued sword key. We can grab one of these keys right next to the portal that's going to take us to the chapel. This is at the 4 belfries on the west side of Liurnia. There are 3 portals here, alongside the chest of the key at the top, so be careful to go through the right portal, since you only have the 1 key if that's the one you brought. If we use it on the portal with an anticipation note before it, aka the portal that has us facing north, we'll be taken to the chapel and quickly meet our old friend, the grafted Scion. So time to take revenge. After that boss fight, we can continue back to where we first began to play, up to the chapel above. In the rafters of the chapel, there's a chest with the Stormhawk summon inside of it. This is a powerful summon, and it has some really cool movement and of course the buffing, but it is a lower health summon, so you want to keep that in mind. Next is the Powerhouse, Banished Knight Oleg. For a whopping 100 FP, Oleg brings 2 blades and a lot of resilience. He's an incredible tank style summon who is perfect for any glass cannon build you might be playing. We will need 2 sword stone keys that you can get from playing the game generally though, before we can enter the Fringe Folk Heroes Cave. This is back where we started the game. Just return to the stranded graveyard before the first step grace. Using the swordstone keys to bring down the barrier within, we'll progress through this area and eventually come to the ulcerated tree spirit boss, who will not only award you the ashes of Oleg, but hey, a golden seed to upgrade your flasks too. Now, as I said, Oleg is a tanky guy, but he can also deal some reasonable damage himself. Just this might make him one of the best summons in the game flat out, because he can handle the heat of aggro for much longer than most summons. Finally, our last special summon I want to talk about is Latel the Headless. She's similar to Oleg in being another great tank target. She also costs a high FP count to use though, 104 per summon, but you know, mind is well worth it for more than just summoning. With all the incredible Ashes of War we're going to be using in this game, you really want to level it. To get Lhutel, we need to head south of the first step to the island below, found in the Tombsword Catacombs near the Tombsword Grace here. If we head down the cliff from the Grace to the north, eventually we'll start to head upwards and we'll turn around and start heading south. Near to those jellyfish is the entrance. Inside is a short puzzle to unlock the boss room, right? And then we have to kill the Cemetery Shade boss. The reward for that is, of course, the summon Lhutel. What's really cool about Lhutel is not the fact that she has no head or that huge shield, but actually it's the spear she uses. She's able to poke out from her shield at pretty solid range, right? Or even back up and throw it for some mid-range attacks. During all of that, she'll even teleport around to get out of range of attacks or reposition, making her a pretty versatile and survivable summon. So I think she's a great option if you do have enough FP. But there you have it. Summons and spirit tuning, alongside my recommendations for normal and special summons to get you going. If this video was useful to you, then do drop a like so I can make more like it. But for now, I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.